Cooper Stewart, 5'8", 170 pounds, the little guy, but he's got a lot of game that he brings to the plate as he takes strike one from Kraft. Both starting pitchers in the game still, only one run to each of their names. 0-1 on Stewart from Kraft. Fouled down the left field line. It's now 0-2 on Cooper.
Yeah, last year, this game, any game that you saw Western play against Centenary was a much more high-scoring affair. Centenary won their 2 games last year in Shreveport, 6-1 and 8-0, and Western won their 2 games, 8-5 and 8-5 again. So, boy, a 1-1 game through 6 innings, not what we're used to seeing out of this team, especially when you look back at last year's records.
Cooper Stewart last year, we mentioned earlier, he was the 23rd toughest player to strike out in the nation. He batted .236, 18 RBIs, led the team with 24 walks. And then his sophomore season started all 51 games played. As we see, that's a bouncing ball over to Imperelli. He'll fire it over to Ross to retire our catcher. So 1 down, and Jared Wolf will come up to the plate.
Yeah, that was a routine ground ball. Not much more you can say about that, but a fantastic job of doing the routine things well for Centenary. And now we're going to see what number 29 can produce. Jared Wolf, who made a sliding catch in the outfield from left field moving in earlier in this game. He's already done it with the glove. Let's see what he can do with the bat.
And he does have the RBI for the Leathernecks as he's first pitch swinging. Almost deja vu as it's Imperelli to Ross again for the putout. So 1 pitch and another out for the Gents. Coming up to the plate with 2 outs will be Drew Leidig.
It's going to be interesting to see how Western does. When Mr. Boy was talking about that game versus Iowa, that's April 21st. It's a Tuesday, not this coming Tuesday, but the one after, and that's a 6:30 game down in Modern Women Park in Davenport, Iowa. Fantastic job of scheduling right there. I love that game, a neutral site game against a big-time opponent from a power conference, one of the BCS conferences in Iowa in the Big Ten. And it's going to be a great game as Iowa took on Western earlier, a couple of games at Iowa, I believe. Yeah, a couple of games at Iowa, and then they actually played 1 game here when we were coming back from spring break, March 22nd. We lost that game at home versus Iowa 11-1. But I like the scheduling. I agree with Mr. Boyer in the fact that we should schedule more of these big-time opponents from our local area.
Nearly getting hit by that pitch as he scoots away is Leidig. It's 2-1 now on him. Again, named to the Brooks Wallace Player of the Year watch list to start this season. Last year, first team All-Summit League, as that one is taken just high. I don't think the catcher Schaefer or Kraft were happy with that call, as the count is now 3-1 on Drew.
And Drew Leidig already not standing too tall. He barely taller than the catcher, but then he kind of ducked his way out of that one. Not able to squat his way away from that strike, and now we've got a full count.
Curveball catching the outside half to make the count full. 3-2, 2 outs on Leidig.
Leidig is listed at only 5'7", so I was not mistaken when I said that he was only a little bit taller than the catcher, and the catcher, mind you, is squatting down on his knees for most of these games.
Leidig just getting a piece of that last pitch, able to foul it off, so he's hanging in there with this 3-2. Again, Leidig, you're right, Eric, a stocky player. Doesn't have a lot of height to him, but he'll still get the job done. He's able to produce the walk with 2 outs. And that will set up Tyler Metcalf. Leathernecks will try and start some little 2-out base hit bingo, 2-out magic, if you will, here in this bottom of the 6th.
And we go from 5'7", 190 to Tyler Metcalf stepping to the dish. He's a little bit bigger. I believe he's listed at 6'4" and 215, the senior, so we're getting a little bit more of a size advantage here, but a bigger strike zone comes with that.
How about the other big guy in this team who we were, mesmerized by in pregame warm-ups, who was DHing when Cooper was playing second and Kozolinsky was behind the plate? That's infielder Darren Spicer, 6'4", 255 pounds, number 32, the junior from Troy Mills, Iowa, transferred over from Kirkwood Community College.
And they're a small lead again being taken by Drew Leidig. Love to see that lead get a little bit bigger, but with 2 outs, you don't want to get caught and picked off, and that would be a bad way to end the inning. just hoping to keep this drive alive and maybe get some runs on the board. Definitely want to keep people on base when Metcalf's at the plate. He has the best potential of any batter to put that ball over the wall, but he's again down 0-1. Not a batter's pitch count at all, and it's Metcalf's problem so far this entire game. He seems like he's always been behind in the count.
Interesting fact about Metcalf, already on the year, he's got 6 home runs and 25 RBIs as we see another big swing. That's been the pitch Kraft has been using all day long on Metcalf, and it has been working. We'll see if he does it again. But 6 home runs, 25 RBIs. Last year, all of last year, Metcalf had 5 home runs and 26 RBIs. So Metcalf just blowing his numbers out of the water from last year. We're only halfway through this season, maybe a little bit more, and Metcalf has already had a better showing in his senior campaign.
Yeah, halfway through the season facing harder opponents. It's just going to be conference opponents for the most part here on out. You see Metcalf single into right field. Leidig taking a chance at third.
And he'll get in safely. First to third, Drew Leidig running hard around the bases as Tyler Metcalf took that down and away pitch, went with it, and took it oppo into right field as we see him dip the shoulder and hit it over to right to get Leidig over to the third. Leathernecks have runners on the corners with 2 outs. This could be the 2-out magic I talked about.
Yeah, it's going to be, you can't bunt in this situation, obviously, because they're 1 out away from being the end of an inning. So now Coach Hyman has a decision to make here. Does he try and have the runner on first, Tyler Metcalf, who let's look at the stats here, is not even attempted a stolen base. Do you want to have him try and steal second base and force maybe an errant throw or try and get a runner across from third? Or do you elect to just let the batter try and hit it out and see if they can produce a run that way?
I think Hyman's going to let Kozielinski duke this one out with Kraft. The Leatherneck's hottest hitter is at the plate, the sophomore, and he's got a 1-0 count on him with runners at the corners, 2 away in this 6th inning. As he takes strike 1, it's now 1-1 on Kozielinski.
Doesn't look like Tyler Metcalf over there on first base is taking any kind of lead that would indicate him stealing a base. He takes about 3 paces off first base and kind of settles in.
Kozielinski hitting that one hard but foul to the right side. 1-2 now on him. You know, the last thing you want to do is strike out here. He's got to put the ball in play somehow. You got to change your swing with 2 strikes, choke up, as we see him doing. You can see there's a lot of knob on that bat left underneath his 2 hands, maybe 4 inches, as Kozielinski chokes up the swing and a miss, though. Foul tipped into the glove of Schaefer, so just what the Leathernecks didn't need. A strikeout from Kozielinski, so now the Leathernecks go down. They threaten, but are unable to get a run. The game is tied at 1 after 6.